the recording. Thanks for coming, guys. Let's start in child's pose. Just classic start to yoga. Knees out wide, toes together, push the hips back onto the heels, slide the hands forward, really extending through the fingertips, and relax the forehead down onto the mat. Rock the forehead side to side, just getting a little massage in the third eye center. Take a deep breath in, and a long breath out, and then we're going to start to come up and forward, rocking forward into angry cat, so up, arching up into the spine. Drop the shoulders away from the ears and really push the sternum up into the middle of the spine. Expand the breath even further. So you take another breath, inhale, so that you can feel the spine come apart, and you extend a little bit further. And then we're going to exhale, let all the air out as you dip in through the back, starting from the lower back. Move that dip all the way up, roll the shoulders back, pull the heart forward. Take the chin up until you feel the stretch in the front of the neck, and then keep flowing. So it's good to do the first two really slow, and then you can start to play with moving a little bit faster. Maybe extending the time in certain positions, maybe even pushing back into child's pose as well. So either coming up with a curved spine and then leading with the tailbone, push back to child's pose. Then you come up, curve into the upper back. When you come back, dip into the spine, roll the shoulders back so that the heart's pulling forward and you're pushing down with the hands at the same time as sinking the hips back to the heels. So you get that opposing action of push and pull happening in the body, so that a simple movement can be quite deep. Start to bring in some circles here. So maybe leaning the shoulders way out to the side, the hips over to the side, snaking the spine around, rolling the head, sink the hips to the other side. Close the eyes down and start to really move with intuition. So allowing your body to tell you what it needs and which way to go. Keep breathing as you move. Get some nice shoulder rolls into it. Maybe start to come forward, dipping the hips down, tucking the tailbone under into a reverse cobra, then pushing back up to child's pose. Come up through angry cat. Tuck the tailbone under. Lay down, reverse cobra, zip the legs up together. Push back to child's pose. Inhale, come up, angry cat. Tuck the tailbone under, reverse cobra. Push back, child's pose. Come back to your cat-cow, swiveling around, circling. Maybe stretch out the back of the hands by turning the fingertips to face towards you and bring the back of the hands onto the mat, and then gently sit back. Then turn the hands around so that the palms are facing down, fingertips facing back towards you. Again, sit back. Then we're going to come back up to all fours. Extend the right leg straight back behind you. Extend through the crown of the head and through the toes so that you feel that belly engaged, rib to hip connection. And then squeezing the glute, take the right leg up, no higher than the hip. Keep extending through the toe, extending through the crown of the head. Then take the left hand forward. Extend the two arms away from each other, two limbs away from each other. Then bend up the knee, reach for the back foot with the hand. Kick the foot into the hand, using that foot to roll the shoulder open. Maybe open the heart forward, look up, take another deep breath in, extend. Exhale, release, come back to bird dog, extending the hand and the foot away from each other. Then come back to all fours. Left side, extend the leg, toe just touches the ground first. Get the core working, then lift up the leg by squeezing the glute, extend the right hand forward. Maybe rock the weight back into the back knee so that you're light on that left wrist. Then reach around, grab the foot, kick the foot into the hand to roll the shoulder back. Take one more breath, and then exhale, release. Come forward, tuck the tailbone under, rolling down in a reverse cobra. This time press up through plank, so tuck the toes under, push to plank, back to downward dog, and come into bliss dog, bending one knee at a time, walking the feet out, taking your time to stretch out and land in downward dog. Maybe lift up, take both heels over to the right until you feel that stretch in the left side of the body. Maybe bend the knees, come back up again, then come back up onto the toes in the center, take the heels over to the left until you feel the stretch in the right of the body. Again, bend the knees, straighten, up and over to the right. Push the hips back, up and over to the left. And back to the right. You're kind of wagging your tail here, but really slowly getting this nice juicy sensation down the side of the body. Come back up to the center in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Extend it straight back behind you. Then bend the knee, open the hip, drip the toe back behind you, look up and over the left shoulder like you're trying to look at your big toe, and then curl under and come forward, bring the knee to the nose as your shoulders come over the wrist, tiger curl. Inhale, scorpion. Drip the toe, exhale, tiger curl. Inhale, scorpion. So extend and keep reaching and reaching and breathing until you feel like you can't drip that toe any further over. Then that's when you change. Bring the leg over, pull the knee in and up, come forward, lock the shoulders down away from the ears, hover. So it's an opening and a stretch, an expansion until you can't expand any further. Then it's engage the core, come forward, compress by lifting the knee, engage the lats, that takes the shoulders down, strength. Inhale, open, release, surrender. Exhale, strength. One more, inhale. This time we're going to come forward and land in a lunge. Let's keep the back knee lifted a little bit. Frame the fingertips around the front foot. And we're going to press that front leg to almost just to unbend. And then drive the hips towards the ground, roll the shoulders back, heart forward, look up. Exhale as you push into that front leg, unbending. Inhale as you come down, roll the shoulders back, heart forward. So keep flowing with the breath. It doesn't have to be in the breath rhythm that I suggest. It's just a serving suggestion. You can just ignore the breath entirely and just keep breathing and flowing. But the idea is that as you move through this flow, you can start to straighten the leg a little bit more. Maybe the first few feel really tight, but we're just going to keep flowing, breathing, deepening until it starts to feel good. I've just been for a run this morning and it doesn't feel good yet. It's stiff. Whew. Let's do 2 more on this side. Then we're going to step forward. Feet hip width apart and parallel. Inhale to lengthen, pressing the hands against the shins to extend through the front of the head. Exhale, fold. Take the hands, either wrap them around behind the legs or you can interlace the hands behind you. and allow the arms to fall up and over. Keep a slight bend in the elbows. If your arms are behind you, keep the palms pressed together. It just keeps the shoulders nice and straight and the wrist from flinging open. And we're going to relax the arms down, slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time, getting that nice expansion across the back of the spine. Inhale, bring the hands to prayer, take the palms up, and then pressing the palms together, take the arms behind the ears so the biceps go back. Start to lean back slightly, getting a beautiful heart opening inhale. Exhale, forward bend. Step back to high plank. You can drop the knees here and do the reverse cobra, otherwise exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg extends. Drip the toe over. Look up over the right shoulder. Push into both hands evenly. You can't drip any further. Then hug the left knee into the chest. Come forward, squeeze, tiger curl. Inhale, expand. So you can move faster if you want to. You can make this flow a little bit more tempo. Depends what your playlist is doing. But moving really slow and with intention through these can be quite strong and quite beautiful to really feel all the different parts of the body that need to engage to take that leg that's in scorpion from this open hip position to then coming back to straight, squeezing in, almost closing your eyes and really feeling what's happening under the skin. Almost getting that visual of if someone had like the anatomy textbook and they were highlighting all the different muscles that were working and ligaments and the way the bones are moving and the way strength and energy is flowing through your body as you do these movements. Let's do one more. Inhale, exhale, let's squeeze, come forward, land in a lunge. Fingertips frame the front leg, unbend. Drive the hips down. And you can still work with strength with this flow, even though it's kind of like a stretching movement and feels kind of easy. The more that you pull the feet together, so you're trying to crinkle up the center of your mat, the more you'll get that feedback and engagement of the opposing muscles that we're stretching here. And it will actually make the stretch more effective. Just keep squeezing the feet towards each other, keeping the legs nice and active. I feel like we were here for quite a long time on the other side. Close the eyes if it feels okay. It can be a bit weird because you're going up and down and you don't want to give yourself motion sickness doing yoga. It has happened to me doing a blindfolded yoga class. This pose, it shouldn't happen though. So close your eyes and just feel where there's any areas that feel particularly stuck, and maybe just recognize that there's some stuck emotional energy that we're working with here. It's not just from sitting, it's from just that general lackluster sensation in the air from being inside all the time. Let's do two more. This time step forward and land in a squat. So you'll have the feet more out than the heels at the front of your mat. Use the elbows to hold the knees apart. Press the palms together. Extend through the crown of the head. And then squeeze the glutes so that encourages the knees to open and the groin to open. So even though your elbows are pushing the knees apart, when you squeeze the glutes. You can feel the knees kind of come away from the elbows a little bit. Then we're going to bring the hands to the floor, turn the heels out, toes in, and fold into a forward bend. Turn the toes out, heels in, so like duck feet. Come down into the squat, squeeze. Fingertips to the ground, pivot the feet, and fold. So again, this can be quite flowy and slow. And I encourage, again, to close your eyes and feel what's happening in the body here. We're doing lots of really simple flows, just like one movement to the next and back and forth rather than very longer ones. We may do some longer ones later. But just these simple ones where you can go back and forth, you can still create micro movements within the two movements. So yeah, it's a squat and a forward bend, but there's a beautiful pivot action that happens with the feet where you can really pick up the toes, spread the toes apart, and just kind of play with that proprioception of the feet and really come up onto the toes as you pivot, strengthening the arches. So you can get these extra little bits of, I guess, awareness and engagement happening even in a simple flow. Then you can also add a spinal wave. So as you come up from the forward bend, start from the tailbone and unfurl the spine to lengthen. Then sit the hips down, squeeze the glutes, open up. Come forward, come up on toes as you pivot, engaging the arches, and fold. Unfurl the spine, so start from tailbone, unraveling, extending through the crown of the head, then you sit down with a straight spine. Squeeze the glutes in your squat. Let's do one more. And then we'll land in our forward bend. And let's actually just turn to the long edge of the mat and take the legs a little bit wider apart. And we'll just, sorry, there wasn't really a flowy way to get there. Like, let's just change positions. And we'll bend into one leg. You don't need to come down too low to start with, and then to the other. So just these side lunge skandasanas. And again, here you can get this pivot action with the foot as you go side to side. So it's almost like one knee bends, the other leg extends. Then the head turns to go to the extended leg as that bent leg pivots. Drops the knees in, then the left leg bends, head leads back. The right leg bends, pivots, turn. And you can sort of get this snaky spine action at the same time as getting the side lunges, and the hands kind of cross one over the other. So feel the head, your head is like the head of the snake, and then the spine is the body. And the legs are just kind of doing their thing. And you can start to go lower. Starting to turn that straight leg foot up to the sky. And you can even add that unfurling of the spine instead of the snake. So where you come to the side, flick out the tailbone, unfurl like you're unfurling a blanket out to the crown of the head, then push to the other side. And then again, unfurl. Then we're going to add on. So as you start to come lower, optional add-on is to sit the hips all the way back down, then come forward onto the foot, over to the other side. Sit the hips back until you sit down. Keep that knee pointing out in the same direction as the toe. to get up, lean forward until you're standing on that bent leg foot, then come over to the sides. So it's a real active kind of Skandasana. If you're using no hands, it makes it a little bit more challenging. If you want to add in again, the next time you sit down, turn the knee in so that the knee comes down to the ground. Turn the body toward the extended leg and fold. Inhale, come back up. Turn the knee out, lean forward, over to the other side. Sit back, knee turns in, twist the body, fold. And your arms can either help you by pressing them into the ground, or they can kind of float around you and you can kind of make these beautiful shapes. And then the third option is to interlace the hands and keep the elbows wide. Keep them so wide that you can't see them in your peripheral vision, or maybe they're just in your peripheral. And keep the chest open, pressing the head into those interlaced fingers. So we're going to enjoy a couple more each side. You can also close your eyes, move really slow. Last one. Then we're going to turn. Once we're done, come back up to the center, so back into your forward bend. Turn back to the front, wherever the front of your mat is. Step back, high plank. Drop the left knee down. Extend the right leg to straight. And bring the right hip directly over the left. So you're opening up. And then we're going to squeeze the right glute and lift it. Lift the leg until it's no higher than the hip. Extend the top arm away from you. Squeeze the elbow to the knee. Extend. Reach around behind. Grab the foot, kick. Release. Bring the leg and the arm around. Extend. Then squeeze, elbow to knee, compress. Extend straight. Reach around behind you. Grab the foot, kick. And that's your flow. Extend. Try not to slingshot the leg. Keep it really slow and intentional. Reach around behind. Grab the foot, kick. If you're finding it hard to balance with that bottom leg straight underneath you, you can turn it slightly or so that it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. So this is a little oblique crunch. Then we're made lifting the leg up when it comes to straight. Then when you reach around, get that beautiful chest and hip extension. And really, when you're kicking the foot in the hand, also squeeze the glute. Then when you release the foot, you have to really extend through the toe to make sure that that leg doesn't slingshot out. Keep the leg strong. Squeeze elbow to knee. Let's just do a couple more, because these are actually surprisingly hard. And last one. And last expansion, kick, kick, kick. Release the foot to extend away from you, extend the fingertips. Bring the hand and the foot down, come back up to plank. Then to the other side. Right knee comes down, left leg extends, stack the left hip on top of the right. Make sure your right shoulder is directly over the right hand. Left arm extends and then squeeze that left outer glute to lift the leg up. Stand the fingertips and the toes away from each other, elbow to knee. Reach behind, grab the foot, kick. So flow with the breath. Allow yourself to find a little bit of a rhythm. And the more that you kind of slow it down, the stronger it feels, definitely. Remember, you can change that bottom leg. So I kind of have it at like 45 degrees. That seems to be my perfect balance angle for that bottom leg. And squeeze. Try and keep that foot lifted even when you squeeze in. So it doesn't sickle in. Let's do 2 more on this side. Kick. Last one. Oh, we're all in sync. That's so cute. And then release down. Come back to high plank. Drop the knees if you need to. Exhale, lower. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Optional to land in child's pose for a couple of breaths if you need it. I feel like I need it. Okay, we all need it. Hi, buddy. Let's slowly roll up. And we're just going to come up into some camels, but flowing into them. So come up with the knees, hip width apart, parallel, and you can tuck the toes underneath you to bring the heels a little bit closer. As you tuck the tailbone under, so you squeeze the glutes, feeling the hip flexors open, rib to hip connection. So really feeling that engagement. And it's kind of like I always think of the transverse abdominis like a big heavyweight champion of the world belt, like wrapping around and then going into the belly button. But that's really important with camel, the way that we're going back, especially when we're flowing in camel. Really visualize that locking in of everything, the whole core, lifting the pelvic floor in towards the belly button as you come up, and then start to come back. Hands can be on the lower back. Try and keep lifting the heart upwards. So using the shoulder blades to roll the shoulders back. And then you can reach for the heels if you want to. Take a breath in. If you're dropping the head back, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Tuck the chin in. Come forward. And we're just going to push back into a downward dog. Then once you reach a downward dog, full exhale. Again, drop the knees back in. Slowly come up. Hips forward, engage through the core, lift the pelvic floor, roll the shoulders back, heart lifts, head maybe comes back, reach for the feet, deepest breath in, and then exhale as you start to come out. So it's one full inhale, one full exhale. You should be completing the exhale as you come to downward dog. If the breath doesn't fully match, don't even worry about it. Just move at the speed and tempo that you feel comfortable, where you can get that really good core engagement before you start to come back. That's what's most important with this pose. Don't twist side to side. When you're reaching for the heels, really make sure it's straight up and down. If you want to add on, at the end of the camel, skip the downward dog, sit back onto the heels so that you land in a squat, come up to standing. Squat all the way down, rock the knees forward, and then you're already set up for your camel. So optional, either camel to downward dog or camel to squat, to stand, to squat. Rock the knees forward, camel. So pick your poison. We've got 3 more here. So the one that you're on, plus 2 more. Last one. Once you finish the camel of this last one, then we're going to land in downward dog. Inhale, take the right leg high. So we're moving straight into the next flow. Extend it straight back behind you, come forward and land in a high lunge, so crescent lunge. Squeeze the legs together. Get head over heart, heart over pelvis, both hips evenly facing forward. Wrap around that belt, lifting in the pelvic floor, extend through the fingertips, everything engaged. Inhale here. Reach the fingertips to the ground. Ground down into the right foot, and as you slide that left toe in, as you ground down into that right foot, then squeeze the left glute a lot to take the leg up, standing splits. Land back in crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, reach your fingertips down. Standing splits. Squeeze the glute of the top leg to lift it up. Land in crescent lunge. So that's your flow. Crescent lunge to a standing split. We're only going to do 2 more because these are pretty strong on my legs at least, on my post-running legs. Last one, and we're going to meet in the standing split. So squeeze that back leg. Wrap the right arm around the back of the right calf. Extend the left toes up higher to the ceiling. Higher, even still. Take 1 more breath in. And then exhale, bend that left knee, bend the right knee. Bring the left knee to the outside of the right foot. So we're going to, and then sit the left hip down. And you are ready for a twist. Yeah. Right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm high. Left elbow comes to the outside of the right knee. Inhale to lengthen and exhale as you twist. You can also inhale to twist. I won't go into it, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you're breathing and really twisting from the center of your body while keeping that core engaged. So that's usually why we say exhale to twist. It's because automatically when you exhale, there is a little bit of engagement. But really you want to make sure that the core's nice and strong to support the lower back because you're really cranking around. It feels gentle, but you can really push that elbow into that knee and get some like serious exorcism degrees. Then release the head forward. We're going to keep turning until you can bring the hands onto the mat and you're in a downward dog facing the other side. Yay. Left leg extends, inhale. Exhale, come forward, land in your lunge. Crescent lunge, squeeze the legs together, come up, engage through the pelvic floor, squeeze the legs. So you can see that the sequence that I go in is as you come up, you visualize from the ground upwards, so squeezing the legs together, right hip comes forward, pelvic floor lifts. It's kind of like a transformer in a way that you're stacking from the ground up. and just consciously telling each part of that body to engage all the way up to the fingertips. So that you really should feel like this is challenging because you've consciously switched on every part of your body. Then we're going to reach the fingertips to the ground. As you drag that right leg in, you're really engaging the right quad and hip flexor to pull that leg in. Then it's the glute. All glute and hamstring to extend, standing split. Slowly bend that front leg to land in a crescent lunge. Again, squeeze, lengthen, reach, squeeze, lengthen, slow descend, land, squeeze, lengthen. Let's do 3 more here. And last one. I nearly fell over. But that's what happens when I stopped engaging for a second, is I lost balance. So bend the right knee, bend the left knee. Bring the right knee to the outside of the left foot, and then you sit your right hip down. Whew. That's tough. Left hand's going to come behind you. Right elbow can come up and over to hook over that right knee. Or you can just wrap it around. I have a bit of a cramp. So keep lengthening the spine upwards, engage through the core, then crank a little bit further. Crank is probably the wrong word. Gently evolve the twist. But you should feel like the longer you stay here, rather than it feeling like you're just stuck, there should be this kind of like continuous opening. Even if it's just micromillimeters, the longer we stay here, the more you should feel like you're looking over the left shoulder, like you're getting more space, but it's not coming from the neck, it's coming from the center of the body. And let's release. Keep turning towards the right until you can come back into that downward dog, and you should be facing the front of the mat again. Let's bring the knees down to the ground, tuck the tailbone under, and we're going to reverse cobra all the way to the ground. Have a little lay down. A well-deserved lay down. You can place one hand on top of the other and just rest the forehead down onto that little pillow you've created with your hands. Then we're going to squeeze the legs together. So nice and strong. Feel the glutes engage and the kneecaps lift up off the floor because the whole leg is engaged. So pressing the top of the toes into the ground. Then we're going to squeeze the right glute to lift the right leg and back down. Squeeze left glute, left leg. And really think squeeze before you lift the leg. And it doesn't come up very high because you'll notice there is a certain height that comes up where it feels like it's driving if you go too high, it feels a little bit like it's driving this little bend in the lower back. So we don't want to go that high. Just a tiny little pulsation, assuming the legs one at a time by actively squeezing the glutes. Now we're going to reach the left hand forward. Right hand is going to reach back. Squeeze that right glute, then bend the knee. Kick the foot into the hand. And as you kick, you'll notice the left hand slides in. Release by sliding the left hand away. Extend through the right leg. Lower the right leg. Change hands. First get that kick, so squeeze the glute, then reach around, grab the foot, kick. Release. So that's your flow, side to side. Reach around, grab the foot, extend. Slide the hand back out. And you can take out the glute lift and just bend the knee up if you want to. It does flow a little bit better, but there is that additional engagement that you get from engaging the glute first. Functional, but not as pretty. Let's do one more each side. And then release. Let's push back to, let's go up to downward facing dog again. Through child's pose if you need a little break. But we're going to come into a little pigeon flow. So inhale, right leg high. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to come into a lunge. So right leg is going to come up into a scorpion. Then we're going to come forward and land in the right leg lunge with the foot outside the right hand. You can drop the back knee down. So both hands are on the inside of the right foot. Make sure the right knee and the toe are going in the same direction. Take the right hand, the opposite hand, hand to foot in front is on the ground. Then your right hand is going to reach forward as far as it possibly can go. Then you're going to turn and open into a twist. So take that hand, reaching as far up and over, so it's drawing a circle, an arch. As you lean back into your twist, reach around. Optional here, grab the foot, squeeze it in. Release. Reach that fingertips as far back up and over. So this is a really nice shoulder rotation. Come forward as far as you can. Here, optional to straighten the front leg. Pull the hip back. Nice. Bend into the knee. So come back into the twist. Reach the fingertips. And so it's kind of a twist, but it's like a really open, circling, arching shoulder rotation twist. Then you get the quad stretch. Really squeeze the knee, the heel to the glute. Reach forward and then use the back knee to pull that front leg to straight so that the legs are active in that. When you reach around and grab the foot, squeeze that left hamstring to bring the foot up to meet your hand. Squeeze the foot in, then kick the foot away to pull the shoulder back. So that by the time you release the foot, it's quite engaged. Then reach around. So this is a very active flowing stretch. Everything should be this really intentional reaching for more, not straining, but just seeing where there's more space, see what part of the body can participate more actively in what you're doing. Can the front foot come up onto the toes? And as you're in your twist, and then rock it back onto the heel as you pull that leg to straight. Last one. Squeeze hamstrings, squeeze foot to butt. Kick the foot away. Reach up and over. Step back, downward dog. Walk it out for a couple of breaths. Maybe do a couple of your side to side, taking the heels up and over to the right and then to the left. Then inhale, left leg high, bend the knee, look for the toe, scorpion. Then come forward with the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Right knee comes down. Reach your left hand forward, then up and over behind you. Looking under the armpit, reach for the back foot. Squeeze, extend, kick, reach up and over. Front leg straightens by pulling the right knee in, extending the left toes up to the ceiling, fold. As you come forward and into that lunge, take the heel up so you're up on the toes of the front foot. That way, when you reach and extend, you're making sure that the knee is going the same direction as the toes because the calf is active. When you reach for the foot, kick the foot up, engage the hamstring, even poke it if you need to. Squeeze the foot to the glute. Kick the foot away. Reach up and over. Then the heel of the front leg lands. Pull with the right knee. Extend that left leg straight. Toe goes up, nose to knee. Close the eyes here. Really communicate with the body, or listen to the body rather. It knows what it's doing. As in you've given it a formula for this little flow. And see if you can just let go and see what it tells you. Maybe there's parts of the flow that it doesn't want to do, or that it wants to hold a little bit longer. Maybe there's parts that are really tight and you just want to breathe there, be gentle. Let's do one more. Then we're going to come step forward into a squat again. Nice. Slowly sink the hips down until they can come to the ground and come into a boat pose. So shins are parallel to the mat. Extend, open the heart, extend the legs up, optional. And we're going to slowly lower for 10, 9, 8. Make sure the belly is pulling in towards the spine. 6, 5, should be halfway. 4, we're going to hold our dish pose, so our low boat. Make sure the lower back is pressed into the mat. Look at the toes. Squeeze the ribs towards the hips. Lift up a little bit higher. Extend through the toes again. Extend through the hands. Maybe take the hands up overhead if you want to for the last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Squeeze rib to hips. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Hug the right knee in. Come into a half happy baby. So grabbing up the right foot, make sure the right knee comes to the outside of the ribs. Keep the left hip down as much as you can. And then extend that right leg to straight if you want to. Out to the side. So it's opening them up. You can hold the foot, the ankle, the thigh, the calf. And bend up the knee again. Take it across the body with the left hand. Scooch the hips back over so that your right hip is on top of the left. And turn the head towards the extended right arm, keeping the right arm anchored down. Gravity will open your spine up by using your right leg as an anchor, but you can rest that left hand on it just to add a little bit of weight and encourage it to slowly relax and melt into the ground. Here is where you can start to close the eyes again. Squeeze the knee in towards you as you lift it back up to the center and then extend it to the floor. Left leg is going to hug in and come into a half happy baby. Take the knee to the outside, hold the foot. Have a couple of breaths here. Make sure the right hip's anchored down. You can put the right hand on it if that helps. Extend that left leg out to straight. And then we're going to hug the knee in, take it across the body, scooch the hips, and allow yourself to melt, head turn to the left. Close the eyes and breathe, long exhales. Check the time. So we're going to keep that left knee bent and turn towards your right again. Keep rolling over until you can come up into this left leg bent, right leg extend, baby cobra. Both hands come to the mat underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, just gently come up, lay back down. Roll over onto your back. Circle the feet around until they come out into like this diamond roll. Then right leg is going to come over and on top so that you're back in this twist. Keep rolling. Right leg is bent, left leg is extended. Come up into a gentle cobra. And the hands can come forward. They don't have to be, they can come into like this sphinx pose. And then release. Roll over. Diamond roll. Left knee bends, right leg extends, come up into a gentle back bend and roll over. Feet come out and across. Up into a cobra sphinx. Onto your back, swivel the legs around. I'm traveling a little bit. But it's okay, right? It's kind of nice to just roll around on the floor and just explore the space. Which really has this like feeling of indulgence, especially if you've got nice carpet or even floorboards, just feeling the feedback of the ground underneath you. And you can really slow it down or like move quite like almost like liquid, getting this really beautiful rhythm and tempo. And making the movements a little bit bigger. Maybe sliding around a little bit more. Maybe bending up the knee as you come up. Let's do a couple more. Then we're going to land on your back, wherever you end up. So finding your mat again, bend up the right knee and take the right ankle across the left knee. So you created like a figure four. Then reach up through with the right hand into that triangle and hold on to the left thigh. You can keep that left leg bent or you can straighten it, whatever you prefer. But as you bring that leg towards you, use the right elbow to push the right knee away so that you get this beautiful pigeon stretch. And you can straighten that left leg if that feels good. Change sides, we're simply going to straighten both legs and then hook the left leg over the right, grab the right thigh, pull it in, push the left knee away. Keep the foot flexed just so that the foot doesn't the ankle doesn't sickle and that protects the knee. Just by making sure that the twist is happening from the hip rather than the knee. Really close the eyes down here. This is your last pose before Shavasana. So this is where you can really start to lengthen your exhales. Hug the knees in next. Just give them a good squeeze. Bring the face up towards the knees. Scrunch up the face, clench your jaw, shrug the shoulders up, squeeze the butt, squeeze the tummy, squeeze the legs, point your toes. Engage everything. One more breath in. And then exhale, release everything. Release the face, unclench the jaw, relax the whole body, flop it down onto the earth. And just allow yourself to be carried by the ground. Knowing that for the next few minutes, there's nowhere that you need to be and nothing that you need to do. Simply exist in this space. Start to take some deeper than normal breaths. Gently extend the fingers and the toes. Maybe send the arms up overhead. Come into a full body yawn. And then curling up onto your side, come into a little hug. Squeeze yourself. Hug like you mean it. Maybe say something nice to yourself. And then slowly come up to a comfortable seat. Giving a couple of head rolls. I feel like it's been ages since I've started a Yoga Grooves class with head rolls. Noted. Next Sunday, we're going to do these a lot. They feel really good. Yeah. Especially when you make them bigger and bigger, and then you can start getting into the spine. Okay. Slowly wind them in. Or you can just stay there maniacally rolling your heads around for the rest of your Sunday. I kind of want to. Thanks, guys. Namaste. Enjoy.